Let me share with you my journey into Japanese design philosophy and how it's transformed my approach to home and life. When I first encountered the term wabi-sabi, I was intrigued but confused. What did these foreign words mean? How could they apply to my home? I soon learned that wabi originally referred to the loneliness of living in nature, away from society, while sabis meant chill, lean, or withered. Together, they've come to embody a worldview that finds beauty in imperfection and profundity in nature's cycles of growth and decay. This concept challenged everything I thought I knew about design. I'd been chasing perfection, smooth surfaces, symmetrical layouts, spotless finishes. Wabi-sabi invited me to see beauty in asymmetry, roughness, and the marks left by time. It wasn't about neglect, but about embracing the natural progression of materials and objects. Take the Japanese practice of kintsugi, for example. Instead of hiding the cracks in broken pottery, kintsugi repairs them with gold, silver, or platinum lacquer. The repair becomes a part of the object's history, a gleaming reminder of its resilience. I started to look at the worn spots on my wooden table differently, not as flaws to be sanded away, but as a record of family meals and late-night conversations. This shift in perspective led me to explore Japanese minimalism, or ma. Ma isn't just about having fewer things, it's about creating meaningful spaces between objects. It's the pause between notes in music, the space between words in poetry. In home design, Ma teaches us that empty space isn't a void to be filled, but a crucial element that allows each item to breathe and be appreciated. I began to experiment with this in my own home. I removed clutter not just for the sake of tidiness, but to create intentional spaces for contemplation. The result was surprising. Rooms felt larger, calmer, and somehow more alive. Each object left had purpose and beauty, becoming more impactful in its carefully chosen place. Another key concept I discovered was shizen, which translates to naturalness or absence of pretense. In design, shizen encourages us to work with natural materials and to let them speak for themselves. Instead of painting over wood grain, we celebrate its unique patterns. Rather than forcing plants into rigid topiaries, we allow them to grow in more natural forms. This approach extended beyond materials to the very layout of spaces. I learned about the traditional Japanese concept of fusuma, sliding doors that allow rooms to be flexibly divided or opened up. This adaptability felt revolutionary compared to our Western notion of rigidly defined rooms. My home became more responsive to the changing needs of the day, the season, and our family life. As I delved deeper, I encountered shibui, a term that describes an aesthetic of subtle and unobtrusive beauty. Shibui balances simplicity with complexity and restraint with spontaneity. In practice, this might mean choosing a seemingly simple vase whose beauty reveals itself slowly as you notice the complexity of its glaze or the subtle asymmetry of its form. Embracing these principles wasn't always easy. Our consumer culture constantly pushes us towards the new, the perfect, the complex. But I found that the more I integrated these ideas, the more content I felt in my space. My home became not just a place to live, but a teacher, constantly reminding me to slow down, to appreciate the moment, to find beauty in the overlooked. I began to see how these design principles reflected larger philosophical ideas. The concept of ichigo ichie, often translated as one time, one meeting, emphasizes the transience of life and the importance of treasuring each moment. In my home, this manifested as creating spaces that encouraged presence and mindfulness, a comfortable reading nook, a simple tea corner, a well-placed window seat to observe the changing seasons. These Japanese design principles aren't just about aesthetics, they're a pathway to a different way of living. They teach us to value quality over quantity, to find beauty in age and imperfection, to create spaces that evolve with us rather than constantly seeking the new and flawless. As I've applied these ideas, I've noticed a ripple effect in other areas of my life. I'm more patient, more observant, more appreciative of subtle beauty. I've learned to find joy in the maintenance of objects, polishing wood, mending clothes, seeing these acts not as chores but as a way of honoring the life of things. If you're intrigued by these concepts, start small. Choose one area of your home to declutter, creating intentional space or ma. Look for an everyday object that shows signs of wear and consider how its imperfections tell a story. Bring in natural elements, a piece of driftwood, a uniquely shaped stone, and give them a place of honor. Remember, adopting these principles isn't about adhering to a strict set of rules or trying to recreate a Japanese home. It's about understanding the philosophy behind the aesthetics and finding ways to apply it that resonate with your own life and culture. The goal is to create a home that feels authentically yours, that brings you peace, and that evolves with you over time. In embracing wabi-sabi, shizen, and other Japanese design principles, we're not just changing our homes, we're shifting our worldview. We're learning to find beauty in the imperfect, value in the impermanent, and richness in simplicity. It's a journey of constant discovery, one that transforms not just our living spaces, but our way of being in the world.